Hello everyone out there in Facebook land, TikTok world, everywhere this going to be going live or have a recorded version thereof happening on a regular basis. Welcome to the broadcast channel. I am Monty Anderson, your host here at 412 Productions, the art of Monty Anderson. And I don't have any artwork shirts on today because it is game day today. That is right, everybody. We play the Philadelphia Beagles tonight. And, it should be an interesting game, no matter what happens. All the way around. But, there you go. All right, so welcome to the broadcast channel, everybody. Again, I am Monty Anderson, your host here at 412 Productions. And let me go ahead and flip this around. There we go. They just need to turn that shit off and only use it if you want to use it. That I don't understand. Why they don't just do it in the first place. But that's just how they want to do because they think everybody wants to be in reverse all that time. So, but welcome to the broadcast channel, everybody. I am Monty Anderson, your host here at 412 Productions, the art of Monty Anderson. And here we talk everything from comic books to movies. That's superhero movies, that's horror movies, that's sci-fi and action movies. We talk about, again, comic books, artwork, my artwork, other people's artwork, uh, comic book conventions, all that goody good stuff. That is what this broadcast channel is about. So welcome those of you that are stopping in and checking out the channel. And it's almost birthday time, as it says, as the title of the show. My birthday comes up in the next few days. Today is the 4th. It is 3 days away from my birthday. So you can go ahead and send in all that birthday money, just like when you were a kid. And that's right. That's right. You can go ahead and send in all that birthday money to me. I can give you a link to my Cash App, my PayPal, all that good stuff. And you can make the birthday great again. Now, people have already been sending in. It's like a kid, you know. Whenever you used to get those birthday cards and they were filled with the money, a little bit of money, like $5 here, $5 or $10 here from another relative and family members and things like that. And sometimes you get the $20 stuff and the big money, from your relatives. And then you would go spend it, the very next day, because it was always coming cash, and that's what made kids' birthdays great. I mean, some adults' birthdays still get the cash and stuff like that. Um, I know, I still get cash for birthday gifts because people are like, I don't know what the fuck to get you for your birthday. It's like, well, I really don't need anything. Um, some new power tools to work in the coop and on the homestead and stuff like that, but or new art supplies and it's not hard to really shop for my birthday. I'm pretty easy to please when it comes to gifts coming in. So, but yeah, birthday's coming up in 3 days. I will not be live on that day. I'll be live before and after that day. But, and then they've got those people that do the birthday the whole month. Oh, it's my birthday month, so you can still send me stuff all month long. And I mean, and if you want to donate to the birthday fund, that's cool. You don't have to, but like, sharing, and following helps over here as well when it comes down to it. But it is game day for the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Beagles, and we're looking forward to it. Kickoff of the NFL season happens tonight. So it should be cool. It should be interesting. Like I said, win or lose, I'm still a diehard fan all the way through. A section of my closet is like, you can't even see it right there. It's about this deep with nothing but Dallas Cowboy stuff, And then I've got an entire Dallas Cowboy room dedicated to merchandise, autographs, all that goody good stuff. So there you go. There you have it. So we are talking different comic books and things like that. We keep referring back to this era right here, 1996. Thanks for the likes, thanks for the shares, and thanks for the follows. And if you want to follow my other social medias, you can go up here, whoop, right there. Bum, 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 go to my profile page, and you can. I don't know how it looks on your side, but right here, it's right here for me. You can go to my profile page, and you can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, which you're already here, and you can follow me on YouTube as well. But like I said, we keep referring back to this 1996 pamphlet, um, little booklet that came from DEF CON in, I believe this one was Tulsa, Oklahoma. Yeah, Tulsa, Oklahoma at the time. This was their third year of doing DEF CON, September 6th, 7th, and 8th in 1996. And this one had a ton of guests in it. There's some people I didn't meet, which were some of the actors, like uh, Robert Beltran. I didn't meet him, from Deep Space Nine at the time. I didn't meet him. I didn't meet Steve Sansweet. I met Kevin J. Anderson and Rebecca uh, Moster right here because they're autographed on the page right there. You know, um, thoughts on the Micah trade? Injured player. Um, Good riddance at this point. I mean, he was a great player. I mean, I still have him immortalized over here. I still have him immortalized over here. Autograph card, rookie card right there for Micah Parsons right there. And it's not going to go anywhere because it's still about $150 to $200 card, right there. But, he's been injury prone. He's actually having to take a shot, you know, if he's going to play with Green Bay Packers, you know. And, you know, the the agent that he's got, I have I have seen reports from other um, superstars out there that was their agent who they fired because they screwed them on their deal, and they in essence did what happened to Micah. He was traded. So, you know, I mean, it hurts for our defense, but we've got a lot of great defensive young talent there as well. Um, as long as we can stay healthy, we'll be okay. You um, Kenny Clark is great. Um, d- don't sleep on Kenny Clark. Kenny Clark had 10.5 sacks. What was it last year? Um, and was it no? Was that Dante Fowler? Anyway, we've got a great line, defensive line, right now with Dante Fowler, Kenny Clark. You got Adiggy Zuwa. You've got, I mean, I'm not going to say Mozzie Smith right now unless he proves this year. I would say trade him as well uh, if he doesn't prove himself this year. If he looks like shit this year, out. No, no. There's no player that's worth 47 million. And in reality, did you see the breakdown after the taxes and everything like that? He's only making 21 million, which 21 million. That sounds like a horrible number. But, after taxes and everything else, he he's only making 21 million, to play, which, had he made the 46 and a half to 48 million that he wanted in Dallas, he'd still be only making the 22 million, to play. So, and the breakdown is ridiculous on how much they actually have to pay out in taxes and everything else. So even though they're getting that big contract, they're not getting that big contract, you know. But yeah, no, they're still playing at 21 million, which the rest of us can only wish we could get in a lifetime, you know. And but no, it was a great trade. I wish they would have taken the deal when it was offered the first time from Green Bay, honestly, because that would have given us 4 extra picks. So it would have given us 6 total picks plus Kenny Clark, you know, because there was the offer of 2 number 1s, a number 2, a number 4, and a number 5, I believe is what it was. Um, and then Kenny Clark as well. So, but then they rejected that one and then came back a day later and was like, "No, we'll do this." Yeah, yeah. I saw it out there. There was a proposed trade of 5 picks and Kenny Clark. originally, and they turned it down because they were still not in the negotiating market of him. But then I guess something happened, and they were like, and then it was like they were like, no, we'll go ahead and take the trade, but we'll do it this on this. And so they got two first round picks in next year's draft and the year after. So 26 and 27, we're getting two first round picks unless we shop those out and get a different player. you know, yeah, yeah. It's the whole Jones. It's the dad and son, Steven and Jerry. They both need to take a step back, and they need to be the owners of the team only. Um, and hire a true general manager and be done with it. You know, I really wish they would do that because it kind of sucks that they don't. And they do hurt the team a lot. That's why we haven't won a Super Bowl in 25, 26 years, and we're the last NFC East team to even make a deep playoff run, you know, um, because I mean, hell, look at the Commanders who nearly took the Super Bowl on a first year coach, who used to be our defensive coordinator, who took 11 players with him over to the Commanders, you know. But I don't mind the trade, man. But what's your thought tomorrow? I think we have a chance. You mean tonight? Tonight, I'm predicting 31-28 Dallas is my prediction. That's just me. Another friend of mine has 31 to 24, I believe. Dallas favor, of course, because I think with the addition of Pickett out there, Kenny Pickett and C.D. Lamb, they're not going to know who to cover. Somebody's getting double covered, somebody's getting left wide open, and that leaves also Turpin out there, and it also leaves Donovan. Yeah, Donovan's going to be a good player. I'm waiting for Maffa to show up off of injured reserve. You know, Bill Maffa right there, his rookie card right there. I'm waiting for him to show up because he's a beast. He kind of reminds me of Marion Barber in a way because the dude's big. Marion Barber wasn't big; he was just brutal. Um, but no, I'm excited about the whole team right now because we've got a lot of young talent. Yeah, George Pickens. Sorry, not Kenny Pickett. Yeah, I am. I am. And he got traded just here recently too. Yeah, Kenny Pickett just got traded. But no, yeah, George Pickens. Yeah. Um, and I'm waiting to see that dynamic duo because that's going to leave somebody open all the time. Be it Ferguson or Turpin or even one of the running backs. I'm not sold on Javonte Williams yet. I know he's a big back and I know he's been in there. Oh, George is great. He's got a year contract to prove, and he's excited. He got out of a shitty quarterback area, and now he's with Dak, and everybody calls Dak a shit quarterback, but look at his numbers. Yeah, he doesn't have the great numbers during the playoff season. Um, exactly. He's never had a quarterback, and it's been a quarterback by rotation for him, unfortunately. And Dak Prescott is a proven quarterback. I don't care what anybody says. And I know there'll be a lot of haters that are watching right now. They're like, "Oh, that's some bullshit. Uh, Dak is just a mediocre player." No, look at his numbers. Um, oh yeah, he's been robbed. Lamar shouldn't have got it, because Dak had the better numbers. Yeah, Lamar went deeper into the playoff run, but he should have never got it. His numbers sucked, you know, and so yeah, Dak has been robbed just because of who he plays for. Had he played for another team, he probably would have won the MVP. You know, and and this game, the next two games, he could break all of the franchise records in Dallas. These next two games. No, no, Micah would always stand there and watch plays happen. I mean, I get that you're playing hurt sometimes, because most players do, and most players are getting something to make them play. some kind of steroid shot or cortisone shot or whatever they give him. Like he's supposed to be getting an epidural if he's going to play, you know, this Sunday and against the Lions. And I honestly hope they get their asses kicked, by the Lions. So, which I think is what's going to happen. Because, like they said, it's a team effort. It's not a one person effort. So, Micah Parsons, yes, he could get to the quarterback. But did he always get to the quarterback? No. Yes, he had pressures. Yes, he made the quarterback move out of the pocket. But he didn't always make the plays, you know, like everybody um, thinks of him as making. And so I am truly looking forward to this season. Um, correct, correct. And Trayvon Diggs, mm, I like him as a player, but way too much injury. He's turning into our next Sean Lee at this point in time, just like Sam Williams. I love Sam Williams. He's a great go getter. He was our Micah Parsons before Micah Parsons got there, or after Micah Parsons actually. And but he just keeps getting injured after injury, and it's just like Demarion Overshown. You know, he's becoming an injured player. Great talent, awesome football player, great ball hawk, but it's just the injury bug. You know, we've got certain players that are great and could have those big number sacks and things like that, but they just keep getting injured, and it just sucks all the way around. And I hate it because we could have that Super Bowl caliber team, but injury bugs just lay us out, and it sucks, 100%. And and if Roy was here, he'd be agreeing with all this too, but he's not showing up for the show. He must be asleep. Overshown was great, but hope uh, he's back to what he was. But we got to see. Yeah, 100%. Like that's what I was saying. Whenever he was out there, I mean that pick six, that batted ball that he caught and ran it back for a touchdown. Against the Giants. And now the Giants don't have a quarterback. I'm sorry, Russell Wilson is washed up. Okay. Um, Danny DeVito doesn't even need to be there. Um, I mean, I feel sorry for the Indianapolis Colts uh, picking Daniels as their starting quarterback. But Flowers is awesome. He played for us before he left to go with Dan Quinn and all the other 11 players that went to. I mean, we had a whole football team leave and go to the Commanders with Dan Quinn, and then we got him back. And after he got 10.5 sacks, the last year, which that's where I was getting the 10.5 sacks. And as a Commander, he got 10.5 sacks and almost led them to a Super Bowl. So Dante Fowler is awesome, and I loved him when he was with us, because I thought he was a great talent, and that's what happens a lot of times. Oh, our offensive coordinator. I think he's going to be okay. Um, I have a lot more faith in him that we picked up now than Mike Zimmer, who we had as defensive coordinator last year. I don't know where Mike Zimmer's head was, but he used to be a great defensive mind. But our defense looked like shit last year, and Ebaflus, Ebaflus, Matt, he's going to turn that defense around. He's like a Dan Quinn. He's got a great defensive mind. He's not a head coach caliber guy right now. Yeah, he was head coach for the Chicago Bears, and now he's a defensive coordinator. It's like Dan Quinn going from the Atlanta Falcons, who started struggling a lot, until he just became a defensive coordinator focused on that, and then he became a head coach again, and you saw what happened. You know, the the Commanders made a deep run with 11 Dallas Cowboy players plus X amount of coaches that he poached as well to come be with them. Because unfortunately, this is where it gets all murky and shit. Uh, as a Dallas Cowboy coach, no matter what it is, the head coach down, you don't get paid. Whereas in other organizations, you get paid as a coach. You know, like most of your head coaches are making like something like $20 million or something like that, and then you come to the Dallas Cowboys, you're only making like 10. You know, and oh yeah, 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 100%. Dan was awesome. You know, that's what I liked about him, and that's where everybody was really expecting. Um, Micah Parsons to go was the Commanders because Dan Quinn really wanted him. Dan Quinn really liked him, and but yeah, yeah, 2017. Yeah, I remember going to them going to the Super Bowl with Dan Quinn as the head coach, and but that's what I'm saying. He was a great mind for a while as a head coach, but then something happened and then they couldn't get back into their winning ways, and they just started dropping, down the list, and and that's when Dallas picked him up, and our defense was basically number one every year in most categories. You know, excuse me on that. So, but then all of a sudden we get to the playoffs, and what does Dan do? Dan does what Dan does. You know, he changes up. We're playing a we go from a zone coverage to a man coverage in the playoffs. And what happened? Sorry, Dan, your scheme sucked in the playoffs. Okay. Um, why why fix something that wasn't broken? That's what I did. That's what I never understood with Dan Quinn. You know, every time we would get to that almost moment, he's like, "No, let's stick to the man coverage." and yeah, yeah, yeah. Dan Quinn was a great mind, like I said, but then in the playoffs he sucked. I don't know what happened. Let me see if I can get you on here. Let me see if I can find you on here. Give me a second. Yeah, hey Casey, what's up, man? Welcome to the show. We're talking about the Dallas Cowboys right now. That's been the topic. I'm trying to see if I can find you on here because there's a way to do it, but I have to find there should be an invite. Bum, bum, bum. I'm not seeing where the invite is, man. Yep, get ready for NFL, Mr. Nice Guy. Welcome to the show, man. Oh, hold on. Let me see. Is that what that is? Mm, I'm trying to see where it is. I'm not seeing it right here, but hold on. Mm-mm-mm. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to figure this whole thing out. I think that might work. There you go. There you are. I can hear your voice. I see your profile picture down there. Can everybody else hear him? and yeah, no, I get that. Okay, let's see here. So Jerry Jones will pass away before they win another Super Bowl. Haven't been relevant since the '90s. Well, they have been, but they don't make a deep playoff run. And Oh no, you're fine. I cuss all the time. It's all good. So yeah, then no, like I said, whenever we got into the playoffs with Dan Quinn as our coordinator, he changed the scheme. We went from, like I said, zone coverage, which was working all year long, but then all of a sudden we go into this man coverage that wasn't working for us all because our defenders, our cornerbacks, and things like that were getting blown out of the water. You know, because they were bump and run right off the bat, but then they would get turned around or whatever and leave the guy wide open. And it sucked because why change something that's not broken during the season, you know? But yeah, no, Mister Nice Guy, I get your point, and that's what we were talking about prior to you coming on, was that Jerry Jones needs to just be the owner of the team. He doesn't need to be, you know, the general manager. Hire a general manager that's a proven winner, you know, and and just own the team. Enjoy being the richest franchise in the world when it comes to a sports franchise. What are they at? $12 billion this year, and top of Forbes. All that good stuff. No, I think they're at 12 because the next group is a baseball team, I believe, and I think they're at like 11 point something million. And but Dallas has always been the top of that chart. Yeah, they were at 8 one point in time, but he has. Yeah, ever since he bought the team. Yep. Hold on, Mr. Nice Guy. Yep. They won one of them. They have been. Yeah, they haven't got rid of their GM. And Mr. Nice Guy, I don't know because it's been a long time since we've lost to two NFC East teams, because we're technically with Dak as the helm. We are, what is it, 33-8? 33-8 versus the NFC East. So, um, it's been a long time since we've lost back to back to say Philadelphia, which, as far as this guy down here, if you're going to be a Birds fan, you need to change your name from Cowboy. You know, um, and uh, we haven't lost twice to the baby Giants, and we haven't lost twice to the Washington, whatever they want to be called this year. You know, so but yeah, it's been a long time since we've lost back to back games to our NFC East rivals. So yeah, we will drop a game to one of them. Most likely Philadelphia and most likely Washington, if I had to guess. Giants, I'm not too worried about just because of their quarterback play that they've got with Danny DeVito and Wilson. Um, I mean, I know Russell can still throw the ball down the field, but as far as he needs to retire just like Aaron Rodgers, you know, because it was kind of funny watching Aaron Rodgers throw his first pass at preseason, or not preseason, but at OTAs. And what he do? He threw a pick right off the bat. You know, so it probably is because he's got some wheels on him. You know, and a lot of people wanted Jameis to go to Dallas. You know, but do the Cowboys make the playoffs this year? Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Joe Milton, though, I mean, he does have the cannon of an arm, but like I was saying at another uh, piece, um, and that was on another Facebook or Instagram post that somebody was posting about him. You know, he doesn't have the finesse that he needs. You know, to make those nice passes in there on a close range. You know. Well, I'm pulling up our schedule because we've got a brutal schedule. We've got one of the hardest schedules in the league this year, and that's what I'm getting ready to pull up. We've got a brutal schedule. Most everybody that we play is a above 500 team from last year, and let's see here. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do is once my computer catches up, because obviously we got Philadelphia tonight, which I think we will win. It's going to be by a tight margin. It, go for it. No, you're fine. Go for it. He has, and I can almost see this Micah Parsons trade as kind of like the Herschel Walker trade whenever we traded for him. Now, if you watch his game tape of him being there, he's a beast. Right? Yeah. Yep. And Mr. Nice Guy, let me answer your question about do we make the playoffs this year. I can't answer that question because I'm not the guy that's like, oh, this is our year. You know, I'm a diehard Dallas Cowboy fan, but I'm not the guy that goes, this is our year every year. You know, we're making the Super Bowl. You know, win or die. You know, all that good stuff. I want us to make the Super Bowl. I want us to make a deep playoff run to make the Super Bowl. But you know, you just got to look at it realistically. It's any given Sunday. It's any given Thursday. It's any given Saturday whenever they start playing on Saturdays. Okay, so here we go. Philadelphia Eagles. I've got the win there too. New York Giants. I've got the win. Chicago Bears. I've got the win there. Green Bay Packers is an iffy for me, but I feel like we can pull it off this year, even though they've been our Achilles heel. Yeah, Jadon Blue. I mean, that game for me is going to be a 50-50. You know, New York Jets, I think we got that one handled. Uh, Carolina Panthers, I think we got that one handled because neither one of those have a great offense. Period. Um, then week 5 actually we get Maffa back, which I'm excited about. I want to see him play. 100%. No, Maffa? No, he's our rookie that we picked up in the draft. So Mr. Maffa here, from Georgia. No, Clemson. I'm sorry, from Clemson. This guy right here. Yeah, Phil Maffa right here is the guy that we drafted. After Jadon Blue. Um, no, it's cool, but this guy right here, if you saw him in preseason, he's a beast. Like I said, he's a Marion Barber type, but he's just bigger. I think he's 6 foot. Yeah, he's 6'1". He's actually shorter than I am. So, but he's a lot bigger than I am. So, uh, so there we go. We get him back in week 5 versus the Jets off of injury because they had to put him on 4 week injured reserve list. So week 5 is New York Jets. Week 6 is Carolina Panthers, which I've got to win on both of those categories. Washington Commanders, which is week 7. That one's a 50. That one is at home. So I think we got a win at home. Well, we did. We did for a bit. So yeah, we were. No, go for it. There ain't no harsh. The thing, no, he didn't. He always tried to get that ball forced down the field, you know, and that's where it showed whenever he played against us in preseason. He got an interception. You know, he did. Yes, Mister Nice Guy, you're correct. Yeah, there's definitely, and it's just going to be like with Philadelphia. There's going to be a 1-1 on Philadelphia. No, no, the Giants. I have no problem. I have no fear against the Giants. You know, the Giants are going to end at the end of the NFC East. So I don't think they're going to either. Right, but like, yeah, the thing is with Micah Parsons, you knock him off his line, he's done. And people have figured that out already. Yeah, to stuff the run area. Yeah, yep, that's fine. He is. Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of fast young talent, you know, on the defense. So Right. We did, as everybody does. Yeah. Well, in preseason with Maffa running, he was getting about 6 to 7 yards of play, on the run. So that's better than most that we've had, even with Pollard in there. You know, but that's how everybody was though. Whenever they became the star running back RB1, they looked like shit. Pollard, Malik Davis, um, and Mr. Nice Guy has his team going to the playoffs this year. So with the Commanders. So and I can see that. Yeah, I don't have, but I can. Let me see. I don't know what they've got yet, but let's finish ours because the Commanders is a 50-50 at home. Denver Broncos, that one could be a 50-50 because they've always had our number for some reason. Arizona Cardinals, I think we can win that one. Just they have, and it's just like the Las Vegas Raiders. They could beat us again this year, as they have in the past. And then we go against Philadelphia, which again is Week 12. We're going to lose that one. Kansas City Chiefs will probably end up losing that one. Detroit Lions will probably end up losing that one. Minnesota Vikings, most likely a loss. No, I get that, but I still feel like that one could be a loss for us. Yeah, yeah, yep. No, you're fine. No, I got you. And it's everybody's. Everybody has their own opinions to everything, and not everybody's opinion is right. Just like my opinion isn't right all the time. So so right, yeah, yeah. Okay, then we go Los Angeles Chargers after the Vikings, which I think we can win that one too. Then we got Commanders, which will probably be our loss. One of them is going to be our loss to the Commanders, you know. And then the New York Giants again. Wait a minute, did I not? I didn't say New York Giants up here before. Did I pass the Giants? Oh no, Green Bay, Chicago. There they are. We play them week 2. That's why I lost them. So we play the Giants week 2, and I think we actually win both of those. I don't fear the Giants at all. So let's see. I do too, but a lot of us have it. A lot of them now have us going, you know, like 7 and whatever, because oh you lost Parsons, and it's like big deal. So we got other players that can take over. Right. He's going to be injured for him at some point in time. You know. Okay, so here's the Commanders. You wanted me to pull up their Commanders schedule. So they have an easy first game, which is against the Giants. They're going to win that one. They go against the Packers, which could be a test for them. They're going to go against the they're going against the Raiders, who it could go either way on that one because of their running back play. Because they're going to start Gentney, who everybody wanted, who looked like shit in preseason. I'm sorry, he looked like shit. He didn't look like he knew what football was. Oh, he the very first game he had -3 yards on 7 carries. Yeah, yeah, and then he bounced back with 33 yards on the next game of preseason, but um, I think it was on like 5 carries, and so it's not horrible for a rookie. And then they go against the Falcons, which should be a win for them. They go against the Chargers, which should be a win. They go against the Bears, which should be a win. Let me see if it'll pull up the rest of their schedule. My computer's running like pond water, guys. Okay, here we go. We got to the Falcons. Okay, let's see. So the first game, Giants, Giants, Packers, Raiders, Falcons. Okay, Chargers. Then they go to the Bears, which could be a win for them. Uh, the first game against Dallas, yeah, the first game against Dallas, I think they lose. They go against the Chiefs. I think they lose that one. They win against the Seahawks. They lose against the Lions. They win against the Dolphins. Sorry, I got to move my phone out of the way. They win against the Broncos. There's a possible win against the Vikings, like you were saying about with Dallas. They win against the Giants. They get 2 wins against the Giants. They lose one of two to the Eagles, and they win one of two to the Cowboys. So there you go. That's their schedule. So they've got a decent schedule. I'm not going to say they've got an easy schedule, but they've got a decent schedule going on right there. Who starts for Browns? Oh, that's a good question. I think they're going to put Shadir in to start. Um, Joe Flacco. No, Kenny needed to go. Now Dylan Gabriel, he's actually the better quarterback out of the two, to be honest. Um, yeah, I think he's a much better quarterback than Shadir. Shadir is too much like his dad, you know, as a quarterback, and which is sad because he does have talent, but um, just like his brother who got canned, got kicked off the team for a fight in preseason. Uh, he, yeah, exactly. He's gonna have the hot head, and he's gonna make a lot of mistakes. So I could honestly see them starting Shadir and then moving into Joe. Be like, nope, you're done. Get on the bench. You know, um, because yes, Joe Flacco is a proven leader. Especially like you said, Super Bowl champion, and and unfortunately, a lot of people want to start that young talent because they're like, oh, it's the next this, oh, it's the next Jalen or Jaden, whatever, the Commanders. This is our guy. You know, and then they get in there and it looks like shit. Throws 5 interceptions. I mean, that's like Tony Romo when he came into the league. His very first game, everybody was hollering to put him in over Aikman and or whoever was in at the time, and he throws 5 interceptions in the first game. You know, and and then after that, he looked phenomenal. Yes, he was an elite quarterback, but yes, he couldn't lead us to the Super Bowl either. You know, and which is sad because we had the team: Jason Witten, Tony Romo. I mean, hell, Marion Barber was in there at the time. You know, maybe I can't remember who our quarterback was. Uh, because we had Quincy Carter in there, but I can't remember. He was before Tony Romo, and I can't remember who. Well, we had Ryan Leaf in there too, but I can't remember. And we had Drew Bledsoe. Yeah, I can't think of what the guy's name is, but yeah, no, I think they're going to start Shador Sanders there, and then I think they're going to quickly find out he's not what they were expecting. You know, they did, and he dropped, and everybody was griping about that, and a lot of people. No, he didn't. They looked like crap after moving over to Colorado and losing most of their games. You know, they did. Yeah, they came over because of Deion Sanders. It was the hype. It was the hype train. Uh huh. And see, I'm surprised he didn't move into the NFL rankings of a coach as far as like a offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator or something like that, or even special teams at the time. You know, because because the thing about Dion is that he's been at every position. Defense, offense, special teams. So he could coach at any level of that. So I mean, yeah, he was a great player in his time, and he still does have that ego chip going on. So what's up, Casey? Welcome to the show. Thanks for all the likes, man. I appreciate you, brother. And I will be getting your package out in the mail, dude, of the comic book covers. Right, right. I I mean, yeah, the last group you came from, you went undefeated, you know, and then you went to Colorado and you look like crap. Yep. Yeah. No. Yeah. Or a honey badger. Yep. Yep. This is my peach mango V8 energy drink right there. This is awesome. I wouldn't drink anything of the other ones because they taste way too much like chemicals. But the peach mango tastes phenomenal, and it's all natural stuff. There's probably a few chemicals in here that you wouldn't want in your body, but but it's made from mango and peach and other vegetables and fruits and things like that. So whereas your stuff that everybody loves, which is your demon juice in Monster and um, well, here's my puzzle piece. Hold on. Oh, shut up. Yeah, there's a puzzle piece that pops up on my side that after you've been on for close to an hour, you have to slide this little slider to a puzzle that goes into a little slot in the screen. Otherwise, you get booted off. It's kind of stupid. But you got your Monster Energy drink, you got your Celsius, you've got your Red Bulls, you've got all these other energy drinks, Ghost. Bang, all this stuff that's got so much chemicals in it, and it just gives you that sugar high with the caffeine in there, plus the other drugs that they include in it. Because have you seen any of the tests on some of those energy drinks? Like it's Monty. Yep. Oh no, you're good, brother. Uh, Yeah, gotcha. Uh huh. Yep. Right. You know, I get that. Hmm. Right. And you couldn't go to sleep because of all that monster in your belt in your system. Yeah. Uh huh. Exactly. Yeah. No. When I was in Afghanistan, ex-military here, I was drinking the BFCs, which is called the big fucking can, is what why they had the BFC on there. It was the 32-ounce monsters because we were doing 16-hour missions. You know, not every day, but almost like every day. And I was drinking those left and right. You know, I'd have like two of those a day, the 32-ounce monsters, and you know it wasn't good for you. You know, 100%. And so I just stopped drinking monsters altogether. You know, once I got back from Afghanistan, and you know I haven't touched any of those energy drinks since. But I've been watching a lot of reports and stuff like on TikTok and Facebook and things like that, where they do drug testing on the drinks, the energy drinks of those calibers, Monster, Celsius, Ghost, Bang, and it shows that it's got like cocaine in it. It shows that it's got like crack in it, all this stuff like that, and it's just like holy shit. You know, this is why people are so happy to be drinking this stuff. You know, even though it's not in there, it's still the same chemical makeup that if you wanted to do that with, you could make them with, you know. So, oh yeah, 100%. And no, and it's not a small dose. It shows it tests high on their chemical charts. So, you know, it's like wow, and people put this stuff in their body daily, you know, and it's just like that's crazy. You know, at least this is natural. It's great. This is great. I love the flavor of the peach mango. Like I said, any of the other ones just taste like shit to me. Uh, there's just a chemical aftertaste that I can't stand. And I've tried all the other V8 energies that they've got, and this is the only one that tastes the best to me. Yeah, yeah. The peach mango is the best one. You can actually find a bigger can, which I think is a 10-ounce can. If I don't know if you have a Walmart in your area, which I'm sure you do. Most areas do. I don't know what area you're in, but you know that little shop and go section right up front now that looks like a convenience store type of a setup. They do have the bigger cans up there. I think it's a 10-ounce can um, over the 8-ounce can that they sell in the packaging in the back where their drinks are. So go try you some of that. You know, get you away from the monster like you said you already did, which is great for you to get away from that monster energy drinks. And so, yeah, no, I get that. Right. Right. So here's a story. You're talking about people dying from it and stuff like that. We had an old guy. I used to work for Walmart because I was asset protection. I was the guy that the secret shopper that threw people in jail, or called the police and they came and picked up shoplifters and stuff like that. But we had an old guy that worked in. He was probably in his 70s, and he worked in automotive at the time. And two different occasions, we had the ambulance up there picking him up. Both times, it was like because he drank a Monster Energy drink, trying to keep up with the young guys, and it caused his heart palpitation, all that good stuff, and he couldn't calm down, and and he couldn't figure it out. And I was like, dude, stop with the energy drinks. This is the second time you've done an energy drink, a Monster, and we're taking you to the hospital yet again, you know. And so he finally learned his lesson after the second one, which was probably about 6 to 8 months apart from the first incident. But it's just like, yeah, pretty much. He started having heart palpitations and fell to the ground, and because his heart was racing so fast, and uh, and he couldn't catch his breath and all that good stuff. They thought he was having a heart attack, but then they were like, no, it's just because you drank an energy drink. We're pumping fluids through your body to knock out that energy drink and all that good stuff. So yeah, he couldn't handle the energy drinks, and he did it twice. Like I said, about 8 months apart, and he was trying to figure it out, and we were like, dude, second time. This is the second time you've had energy drinks, and you're going to the hospital again. You know, it's like just stop, just drink coffee, dude. You want that natural high? Get your coffee. You know, so and and just so everybody knows, just got a live restriction because we talked about the c word and the both c words, um, you know, the drug paraphernalia, and I just got a live restriction, so I had to already appeal my case on that one, letting them know, hey, that's not what my show's about, dude. So, but I'm still live, so that's a good thing. Normally, whenever they give me a restrict, huh? No, they were talking. They did a live restriction on me because I said the word C, ain, and butt crack, basically, but the drug version of. And and so they gave me a live restriction, which I've already appealed. So because like no, we've been talking about football up until we started talking about energy drinks. So oh, trust me, they get you on stupid stuff. Like the last time I got a live restriction and they cut me off, I was talking about some not safe for work artwork that I do, and I used the word row tick, put it all together. Don't say it, and they cut me off. Boom. And that was like 48 minutes into my show, and that's when I started talking about that artwork, and they were like, "Oh no, your entire show is talking about that." It's like, no, it's not. That was like 48 minutes in, and we only talked about it for like a minute and a half. You know, that one they did not, but I've been restricted like three other times, and I put in an appeal for it, and they watched the show and they realized, oh, okay, you're good. You only talked about it for like 30 seconds. So then they brought back my live capabilities and all that good stuff. So we'll see what they do here. Oh yeah, they hit you hard with certain things. If you say certain keywords in your live broadcast, that's why a lot of people you hear, like if they're talking about unaliving something, that you have to use schmurder instead of the actual word, um, or schmuicide instead of the actual word. Because I talk about a prevention, hotline, which is a schmuicide hotline for prevention, and it runs on my recorded version that I'm working with up here too. That's on Facebook and it goes on YouTube, and you can't say the word or they will cut you off. There's a lot of keywords that you can't say. Huh? I'm on Facebook right now too. Yeah, and then I put my recorded. No, that's from Tik. This is all TikTok. What you're seeing right here is just straight TikTok. The 30,000 likes is. I've been live for 1 hour and 6 minutes. Uh huh. Yeah, 30 and a half. And most of those come from one guy, Casey, right down here. So he's got this nice little teleticker thing that he uses, and but he's not the only one. There's several other people that do the likes and the shares. You're fine. You're fine, bro. No, Mr. Nice Guy usually sticks around. I'm not sure if he's here still right now, but oh, no problem. I normally don't let guests on here because I don't know how people react, and I know some people. Oh, Casey's here, and awesome. And most of the time, some people just want to act a fool when they get on somebody's live show. So you know, no, and I understand about the whole. Yeah, no, I get that. And I got friends that are that way that'll just call me and be like, "Hey, I'm done. I'm tired of typing." No, no, you're good, brother. No, and I'll follow you back. And that's what makes the show great is people like you, Casey, Roy. If he was here, he'd be talking Dallas Cowboy football with us as well. You know, and yeah, and I know everybody has their own football teams that they love, college and in NFL and in the whatever it's called now, the UXFL or whatever the hell it's called. The Yeah, yeah, all those other teams where we actually poach players from to come play in the NFL. Yeah, because that's where Aubrey came from, and the yes, I think it skipped off the upright. Yeah, during preseason, 64, 64. Yeah, he still had another 10 yards to 15 yards. Yeah, yeah, when Aubrey kicked that 64 yarder in the preseason this year, I was hoping they would let him do it, try a 70 yarder, but um, it still had a good 10 to 15 yard clearance, you know. Yeah, I would love to see him kick a 70 yarder, 70 yard plus in regular season. Oh yeah, I remember Dan Bailey, and I like Nick Folk too. He did. Just like Nick Folk for us. Nick Folk was our kicker for the longest time, and he was phenomenal. But then all of a sudden, he started missing left and right. Something got into his head. Nick Folk is with the Jets right now. He went to Titans, and now he's with the Jets. Yeah, Dan Bailey went to. It was an AFC team. Um, no, it wasn't the Bengals. I can't remember where he went, but it was an AFC team. So it could have been. I can't remember because I know it was an AFC team. It wasn't any of the NFC NFC teams. So he was. It was 3 seasons for him because he was a phenomenal kicker for a while. Oh yeah, Brandon Aubrey, and they better sign him. They better lock him in, or he's going somewhere else. You know. Well, it's kind of like that. Yeah, it would be. Yep. Yeah, 100%. And it's like you were talking about his age. He's basically like this. Yeah, he's still young, but he's past his prime in football. You know what everybody wants. Everybody wants that 20-something-year-old phenom. You know. Yeah. Oh yeah. I remember Vinatieri. Hmm. Yep. And that's why he was on the same team for forever. Oh yeah. No, Brandon Aubrey's going to be with us for a while. We just have to lock him in. And this is his proof season, if you will. And they could sign him during the season. You know. And well, we've said that about other players too. No, you know. I mean, you do. No, I mean, Koo is one of the other great kickers for the Falcons. Yep. Yeah, because he got canned. Yep. Oh yeah, Louis Von Shaman. Yeah, yeah, I remember him. Call who? Oh yeah, yeah, because we hired so many felons. I mean, you know. Yep. Yeah, Casey. I remember him. He was a great kicker for us back in the '70s. But yeah, no, we hired so many thugs and felons at the time that we were like the rehab of NFL players that were on drugs or some had some kind of felony against them. Oh yeah, yeah, he was good. Yeah, I loved him going over to the UFC and getting his ass knocked out. Who's that? Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. He was until we traded him off. You know, did we either trade? I thought we traded him to. I mean, we could have, but he got picked up really quick. So now he did get picked up, and I can't remember. I think it was like the Vikings or somebody that picked him up, but he didn't last long there either. So, Oh, he had a ton of upside because he was getting to the quarterback left and right when he played for us. Yeah. And the thing was with that too, it was a pay to play uh like no, no, no. It's oh fuck, what's his name? We just talked about him. Greg Hardy. And it was a pay to play thing. You know, you perform and you'll get a bonus if you get so many sacks during the season, you know. And he did that to a point, but then he started faltering towards the end, you know. And then he didn't like the pay structure and all that stuff, and he was kind of like a Micah Parsons thing, and and I'm pretty sure that's when he said we cut him, you know. And but he did get picked up pretty quick thereafter. So yeah, yeah, I think he went to Minnesota and then he got cut by them pretty quick. So, cause I can't remember where he went, but I want to say it was Minnesota, but I could be wrong. I've been known to be wrong many times. But yeah, no, it's we've hired so many different people that we've given the second or third chance to that from other teams and other people didn't want to touch, and they turned into pretty good ballers. And but then they didn't last very long because of their off the field antics, you know. And and like I said, with and that's Ezekiel Elliott too. You know, he could have broke the rookie record easy in 2016, but we didn't play him towards the playoff area. You know, during the end of the season, he played half a game here, he played a quarter here, or he didn't play at all. And it's just like, why? Well, where was our mentality? He could have broke all the rookie records at that point in time, and but yet we don't play him. Our yeah, but that was making no sense. You know. Yep, because once we got to the playoffs, what happened? Oh, nothing. Yeah, we've lost to the Packers every year we've played them in the playoffs. I mean, they destroyed us. You know. Uh huh. Yep. Yep. It was pretty much the entire team coming at it. Uh huh. All right, Casey. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately it happens, and that's been the luck of the Cowboys. Appreciate the Ducks, man. Yeah, no, I get it, brother. Casey, I get it. And and yeah, the the whole aspect is you've just got to play the game, and you got to play your players in their primes, and you got to play your players to the fullest. And so, you know. But all right, guys, I got to go take care of some aminals that are talking to me in the other room. I do homestead as well as artwork, and I am going to go take care of all that. So much appreciated to Squeeze Shack being here and Casey being here, and you know everybody else that stopped in to say something, Mister Nice Guy. And good to see you too, brother, as always. And I will get that package in the mail to your, I believe you said sister, uh, while you're on vacay. And I hope you enjoy your vacay, brother. And it's no problem, bro. You'll get your art package in the mail. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Not a problem. But all right, man, we will talk to you later. And as I like to say, as I leave you guys, we will catch you on the flip side. Have a good day, everybody.